This is Anchor Your Retirement with Barb Gullen from Safe Harbor Financial Planning Group. When a part of your financial strategy is out of tune, your long-term goals, your retirement savings, and your legacy can all suffer. With many years of experience in the financial industry, Barb Gullen provides her clients and prospects the information they need regarding Social Security, retirement income planning, wealth management, and much more. Listen in as we address your financial concerns and provide helpful strategies to put you on the path to achieving your retirement goals. And now here is Anchor Your Retirement with Barb Gullen.
Welcome to the Anchor Your Retirement podcast. I'm your host, Barbara Gullen. And hey, Tony Shore, how about those
Chiefs? How do I say it?
There you go.
Chiefs. All right. A little too high register there at first. Do it again.
Want me to do it again?
Yeah.
Okay. How about those
Chiefs?
There we go.
Right?
There
Yeah.
we go.
Huge celebration today. I'm surprised you're even in the office today on Tuesday after the Chiefs won the Super Bowl Sunday.
Well, I have no place else I'd rather be.
Oh, okay. Good.
The parade is tomorrow, and I will be doing what I've done for the last two Super Bowl parades, and that will be viewing it from the comfort of either my office or my living room, where I have both plumbing and food readily available.
Yeah. Yeah, that the plumbing and food is important. That is the problem with parades. Have
you seen some of the aerial photographs of what this town does and what happens around Union Station?
I saw it last year. Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah,
it will be a sea of red.
Yeah.
And I have no desire to be that people-y ever.
No, and you know what? The older I get, the less, there was a time, maybe if I was 20, hey, let's head on down there. Let's throw on the Chiefs gear and head down there. But no, not anymore. I'm like, yeah, can I watch it on TV from the comfort of my own home? Oh, I can? Good.
Yes.
But the using the facilities is the big one. That's why I don't know how the people in New York City either do it for New Year's. They say they have to get there. To get a spot right there, they have to, in Times Square, you have to be there like 7 hours ahead, 8 hours, 9 hours ahead, and there's no restrooms. So they literally wear Depends to be there. I would not make that choice.
No.
If I ever had to wear Depends, hey, that happens. My mom and dad are getting to that point. But I'll tell you what, not going to do it if I have a choice.
For the sake of being in a crowd?
Can you imagine that? I can't.
And the weather here tomorrow is going to be in the 60s.
Wow.
So I can only imagine how much bigger the crowd is going to be because we aren't dealing with wind chills in the teens like we have for the last two parties.
Yeah, and the last couple parties have been big. This one's going to be huge, I think.
Yes.
This one will probably set a record there. They'll have more people.
Especially since there are a lot of people hoping to catch a glimpse of a certain pop star.
Oh, sure. Yeah. I don't know if she'll be in the parade. That would be a lot of security needed.
That would be a lot of security, and like one of my friends and I were talking about it, would really draw attention away from the winning team.
Yeah, no.
Now,
I think she's on tour. I think she's on tour somewhere.
Yeah, I think she's headed to Australia. I mean,
I don't even think she's here.
Yeah, if she's there, more power to her and props to her.
Yeah, okay? I guess. Yeah.
But no. She's braver than I am.
Yeah.
Although hopefully the buses that they put everybody on have some sort of, because they do like double-decker buses for the Chiefs. Hopefully they have the facilities that are lacking for everybody else watching the buses.
Yes.
But
we digress. And I want to tell people, I think I have to address the other elephant in the room, or white elephant, I should say, which is me. I'm talking about myself.
For those of you on video.
Yeah. People might be watching the video of this episode thinking, Tony really needs to get some sun, right? Is Tony okay? Is his heart beating? I'm pale. I'm a pale guy. I'm half English, half Irish. So number one, I'm always at war with myself. Number two
closet vampire.
Number two, I am pale, but not this pale. I moved into our new facilities here. I have a new recording studio. It is state of the art. It's quiet. It's soundproof. I love it. But we are waiting on a shade for the window in front of me that has a bright light shining right in my face. And I can't turn that light off because it's in a hallway and fire code won't let us.
Oh,
So
man.
I have to have a shade on the big window into the room, into the studio, and it hasn't arrived yet. So
I
here
think
we
in the
are.
meantime, you need to go do what we did in elementary school and put up some black construction paper.
Well, somebody said, put a piece of cardboard up there. And I'm like, beautiful new studios. They spent so much money on it. And I'm going to put cardboard in the window. I think they ordered something. It should be here in a day or two. So this is hopefully next week. It will look better. I just wanted to explain that, no, I'm not on my deathbed. It is the lighting in the new studio that we're waiting on getting fixed. So.
And for those of you that are impatiently waiting for today's topic.
Yes, I'm sorry. We off track.
We are so off track, but it's okay. Today, we're going to talk about tax smart withdrawal strategies in retirement.
Excellent. I like this category. People make a lot of mistakes when it comes to taking their withdrawals, I bet, during retirement.
People don't always understand what advantages and what options are available to them.
Okay. And you're going to tell us today, right?
We're going to start. It's definitely something that is more of a one-on-one type conversation, but we're going to hit some of the highlights today for just a couple of the strategies that people can use. And understanding timelines for things. Because even though you might be looking for some tax advantaged options, and we're here to help you if you are, understand that very few of those are instant. Okay? In fact, nothing I'm talking about today is instant.
So you're saying you have to have a little bit of patience with these strategies is what you're talking about.
You do, and you need to plan ahead. It's not something that I can flip a switch and help you fix overnight.
Okay.
Okay. So, go ahead.
But there are strategies in place, and this is something you help your clients with. It's just not, there isn't an instant fix that's going to happen overnight.
Right. When you think about your money, you can have it in 3 different buckets. Okay. The first one is going to be your tax-deferred bucket. And that's the money that goes into your traditional 401k or 403b or your traditional IRA. Okay. Then you've got the taxed now bucket, which is your after-tax investments. Things that go into a brokerage account or even the interest you earn on a savings account. You're going to get a 1099 and have to pay taxes on that now. Okay. But then there's this third bucket, and it's called the tax-free bucket.
Ooh, I like the sound of this bucket. Yeah.
Right. But it's a bucket that a lot of people forget they have, and sometimes they don't know how to get to that bucket. So we're going to help you figure out how to get to that bucket a couple of different ways today.
Okay. So how do we get money into the tax-free bucket and out of the taxable bucket?
Okay. The first way you can put money into that tax-free bucket is through a Roth conversion. If your income is low enough, you can also start out straight out of the gate with a Roth IRA. But for many people, they make too much money to go into that Roth IRA option. But what they don't realize is that once they're 59 and a half, or once they retire or separate from service from an employer, they have control of that money and can start, converting to a Roth type vehicle. Okay. A lot of people don't realize that there are not the income restrictions to convert money to a Roth IRA as there are to start a Roth IRA.
Ah, okay. So there's a lot of people don't have Roths or understand them. Most people have a traditional IRA or traditional 401k, but there are Roth IRAs and Roth 401ks, and that money grows and comes out tax-free, the interest and the principal, right?
It does. But remember, I said everything has a timeline that we're talking about.
Yes.
Okay, for a Roth IRA, the money needs to be sitting in that account for at least 5 years for both the principal and its earnings to be able to come out tax-free.
Okay.
Okay,
So there's a 5-year, you can't put money in there you're going to need within the next 5 years.
Right.
Don't do that because that wouldn't have any benefit.
No, because you will end up still having to pay taxes on the gain, even though you've paid taxes on the initial investment.
Yikes.
And you can't tell the IRS that you're just pulling out principal. They're going to prorate it based on the account value.
So that's a big no-no. So Roths are great, and they have a lot of advantages, which I know you've mentioned before we're going to talk about on the show. But there is a timeline. You need to put money in there, and it needs to be in there for 5 years. Then you can start making tax-free withdrawal. But that shouldn't be a problem for people if they start soon enough, because that money, that's a retirement account. You shouldn't touch that before you retire anyway. So let's say you're in your 50s and you're going to retire at 65. That's no problem.
No. Now, if you're under 59, if you're under 59 and a half, and you decide to, you change jobs and you've got that 401k, you move it over into a traditional IRA, and you decide that you want to convert it to Roth, understand that you're going to have to pay the taxes on the money for that conversion. And I strongly suggest that you have those taxes sitting in a savings account or something, because if you try to pay the taxes out of the traditional converting to Roth before you're 59 and a half, the IRS is going to ding you with a 10% early withdrawal penalty.
I see what you're talking about.
Okay.
So only the money that actually ends up going into the Roth can be transferred
without a penalty. That's why it's really, really important, if you're thinking about doing this, please call me or call another fiduciary that you may have a relationship with that can help you navigate this and not create more problems than solutions. Okay.
Yeah. Good point.
You can call us at 913-553-6222, or go to our website for the podcast, anchoryourretirement.com. Use the contact form there, and we'll get back in touch with you. And either I or one of the other fiduciaries on my team will work with you to help you figure out this conversion.
Sure. And I know a lot of people that now are starting to, if you're younger, let's say you're, younger than 59 and a half, they might have money or get a chunk of change or get a bonus at work, or have money that they inherited. So they've paid taxes on it, right? If you're wondering if you have get a chunk of money that you've already paid taxes on, or that you have to pay taxes on anyway, you might as well take that money, because you have to pay the taxes on the money anyway.
Right.
Or if you've already paid taxes on it and it's sitting in an account somewhere, you can move that money, put that into an IRA. You can contribute that money to an IRA, right?
You can, but if you have an employer's plan, if you're also participating in a 401k, there's, again, a whole bunch of different rules around it. You can go in, if you make too much money to go into the Roth and you instead want to put it into a traditional IRA, it then becomes a non-deductible IRA.
Okay.
Okay. So if you want to figure out how you can make that a tax-free option, again, reach out to us and call us, because we do have a way we can make that happen, but you need to know the rules.
Yeah. So I think what I'm hearing you say, Barb, is, you should look at the options and how a Roth can work for you, but make sure you're working with a financial professional like yourself. Don't do it on your own, or make these decisions on your own, or do it without a financial professional who knows the rules, the regulations, stays up on them, because they're constantly changing. The IRS changes the board and changes the rules of the game as we go here. And I know you stay up on these things and work with people and your staff there that can help our listeners do these things, so they don't make a bad financial mistake or a move that can affect them negatively, but they're going to make a move that will help them financially.
Right. And, that's what we're here for. I learned the hard way a few months ago that you have to trust the experts. Did I tell you about changing out a faucet in my basement a few months ago?
I don't think so.
Okay.
You have a lot of good examples you give, but I don't remember the faucet story.
Well, I needed to replace the faucet in one of my sinks in my basement. Okay. And I had another faucet and I was ready to go. And 7:00 one night, decided it was a great time to change out the faucet because there was nothing good on TV.
I've done this exact thing.
Okay. I was a good girl. I turned off the water.
Impressive.
Okay. Hey, I went to engineering school. I know a few of these things. But I'm trying to disconnect the existing faucet that's been attached for, I've lived in the house for 25 years and it was there before I got there.
Sure.
Okay.
So it was corroded on or rusted on.
It was plastic pipe.
Oh, it was plastic.
I found out the hard way that plastic pipe is super, super brittle.
Oh, and so you cracked it.
I did. And, there was a lot of water really fast from places I didn't expect. Go ahead, laugh. I can.
I've been there and done that. I tried to replace my own toilet and sink and faucet and garbage disposal. The garbage disposal took me what it would have taken a plumber about 20 minutes to do. It took me hours.
Yes.
Hours and putting stuff in back. Well, wait, that pipe, now I have to get a different pipe. And I had it so messed up. I eventually just called a plumber to come and fix my mistake.
Right. And that's what I got to do because I couldn't replace that pipe. So my little do-it-yourself stubborn moment of it won't cost me anything cost me like $350 for an after-hours emergency plumbing call. Now, on the bright side, I did know where my main water shutoff was.
Yeah, that's good.
So I didn't completely flood my basement. But my whole point is, had I just trusted an expert, it probably would have cost me $75.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't have had a broken pipe in the process. The thing is that the difference between 75 and 350 is a much better situation than the IRS sending you all those certified letters and saying you screwed up and now you owe us a bunch of taxes.
Yeah, and penalties. Yeah.
And penalties.
10% plus the taxes. Yeah.
Right. Yikes. So please, this is not the time to do it on the cheap. This is not the time to do it yourself.
Yeah. Okay. And I mean, if you're talking about withdrawal strategies in retirement, I know we're talking about how they have to do with taxes. But again, your reminder earlier, I think it's just important we bring it up once again. Do not take money out of a retirement account or an employer-sponsored account like a 401k or an IRA or 403b, whatever type of retirement account before retirement, right? I mean, that's really important.
I mean, that's what you're putting it there for. If you really feel like you need the money, again, you need to sit down with a fiduciary, explore all the options, take a look at what makes the most sense. But let's go on to the second strategy I want to talk about today, which is one that most people don't talk about. And that is you can create another tax-free bucket for yourself by using cash value life insurance. And I'm sure if you've listened to the podcast long enough, you've heard me talk about it more than once. And I am, again, going to put my little disclaimer on it. We're not talking about whole life insurance. We're not talking about this whole infinite banking thing that is on YouTube and on the interwebs. Sure. It, again, is not something where you can put the money in on Tuesday and on Thursday think you're going to pull it out.
Right.
Okay. It takes time for the cash value to grow. It takes time for the strategy to work. But what I like about cash value life insurance is that you can, if you're in good health, kill multiple birds with one stone. Okay?
Yep.
You've got the death benefit if you die too soon. you usually have a long-term care benefit that is attached to the life insurance policy. And I say that if you're in good health, sometimes underwriting says, we're not going to give you that option, but you'll still have this cash value that's building, that if you borrow it from yourself, not surrender the policy, but if you borrow the money from yourself, you are then going to have another tax-free bucket of money. Because even though the insurance company is calling it a loan, they are not going to force you to pay it back. Okay. And this comes in really handy for people who decide that maybe, I've got some clients that have decided that they actually want to take some gap years in working after their kids are in college while they're still young and can travel and do things. They want to stop working for a few years, travel, do some bucket list stuff, and then re-enter the workforce after that. And they will not be 59 and a half at that time. So we look at implementing this kind of life insurance strategy, knowing that if they're paying into it for multiple years, for them, they'll be paying into it for about 15 or so years, that then they've got that bucket of money they can borrow against if they want to actually fulfill those dreams and don't have to worry about it sitting in a savings account where it's not making much interest or where it's too easy to grab.
Right.
But gives them different options and different things to look at. And so many people in their 20s and 30s that have started families don't have life insurance.
Yeah, that's true.
But by developing this, like I've said before, you are one car accident away from your life being turned on its head.
Yeah. Nobody likes to think about that. And that's why nobody plans for that, is because we don't like to think about our own demise or our passing or a spouse or loved one passing. Yeah. But if you plan ahead, it's great. And it's not great, but it's good if you plan ahead. That way you don't leave yourself or your loved ones in a bad situation. Yeah, you're being smart. And it's great that there are these two tax-free options for income in retirement. Because, and the reason we're talking about this isn't the reason this is such an important topic and episode, is because most retirement accounts have taxes in retirement. So the traditional 401k and IRA is what a lot of people use now in retirement, 401ks and IRAs. And the traditional 401ks and IRAs, when they take that money out in retirement, it's all going to be taxable, and taxes are probably going to be higher.
One would expect that taxes are going to be higher with all of the spending that the government has done over the last few years, and there's really no end in sight to it. Like I've said before, I remember my parents and my grandparents talking about, a traditional IRA when a Roth wasn't an option, because the Roth has only been around since 1997. Okay. And saying, well, you're going to be in a lower tax bracket when you retire anyway, because your income is going to be lower and you aren't going to need as much money. I'm sorry. I don't think your car payment or your house payment are going to drop by 33% just because you call them and say you're retired.
Yeah. And your lifestyle, your expenditures might go up when you first retire because every day's a Saturday and you want to travel and you've got extra time. I don't want to take a pay cut in retirement.
Nor are you going to eat a third less food.
No, the doctors and my wife have been trying that for years, Barbara. And it's just, they've been working on me to eat a third less food all my life. And that hasn't happened. Yeah. You put a pizza in. I have never met a pizza I didn't love. I've said that
before. Well, but here's the thing. Both of those strategies require A, working with somebody who knows what they're doing, and B, it requires that you think ahead a little bit.
Yeah.
So, I'm encouraging everybody listening to this podcast to please, please, please think ahead. Newsflash, we have a 100% mortality rate in this country.
Yeah.
In this world.
Yep.
So, you might as well plan for the eventual and make it work to your advantage in the meantime.
Yep. Hope for the best, but plan for the worst.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
So, well, Barb, great show today. Great topic. But the key message is you need to work with a financial professional to get some of these strategies and put them in place. Make sure they're right for you first from your financial and goal standpoint and your time horizon. So how can our listeners get a hold of you to either get a second opinion on what they have or get a plan started?
They can reach out to us by the website, which is anchoryourretirement.com, or you can call us at area code 913-553-6222 and choose the option for appointments and scheduling. A member of our team will either answer the phone or get back to you very shortly and schedule a meeting with either myself or one of our other qualified fiduciaries on the team.
All right. Sounds great, Barb. And listeners, that does it for today's episode of Anchor Your Retirement with our host, Barb Gullen.
We'll see you soon.
Thank you for listening to Anchor Your Retirement. Don't pay too much for taxes or retire without a sound retirement plan. For more information, please contact Barb Gullen at Safe Harbor Financial Planning Group. Call 913-553-6222 or visit them online at anchoryourretirement.com.
Advisory services are offered through Safe Harbor Financial Planning Group, LLC, a registered investment advisor in the state of Kansas. All matters discussed during the show are for informational purposes only. Each individual situation may vary, and the opinions expressed here may not apply to everyone. Materials presented are believed to be from reliable sources, and no representations can be made as to its accuracy. All ideas and information should be discussed in detail with one of our qualified representatives prior to implementation. We are not affiliated with or endorsed by the Social Security Administration, the Federal Medicare Program, or any other government agency. Calling this number will direct you to a licensed sales agent.